If we're here to like debate the merits of saying that everyone is beautiful, you're on the wrong channel. Only all girls are beautiful. All girls are beautiful. Like, obviously. All guys, no, they're not. No. They get to run the world. They don't get to be beautiful. I'm sorry.
Wow!
Preach sent me a video, and I couldn't stop laughing when I saw it, so let's pop it in.
Okay, so we had the same reaction.
Let's talk about us and what happens when we get played by the ugly dude. You know who is kind of unattractive and an absolute nightmare? Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran.
I'm gonna talk about us. Who the fuck do you think you are? Ah! Us! Who the hell is us? This is us. No, girl, this is you.
When he opened for Taylor Swift, he banged all of her friends. And her friends, like Victoria's Secret model friends. And then you know what he did after he banged them? He ghosted them. I want you to picture being like a Victoria's Secret model and getting ghosted by Ed Sheeran. Old Google Eye McGinger.
Yo, she's foul.
This is what happens when we let our ego take over and we're desperate and we're sad and we're at a low. You know what we are? We're easy prey. If we think about a herd of like animals in Africa, who is the lion going to pick off? Not the biggest, strongest deer loping across the plain. Not that antelope. The weak ones, the stragglers.
Wait, you think Ed Sheeran was able to bang those Victoria's Secret models because they were feeling insecure?
No, he was able to bang those Victoria's Secret models because he was Ed Sheeran. That's it.
Do you know how many people want to bang Ed Sheeran? Even when he was opening for Taylor Swift, he'd won like numerous awards by that point, and he was named Britain's top artist. And women bang
Love
ugly,
that
talented dudes.
Jay-Z.
He's sipping that lemonade.
All day, every day.
Emotionally in life, that's what we become. And so we run headlong towards the predator.
Hey, use your words, girl.
She did.
Use the right ones.
She didn't.
Predator.
She didn't.
You're going to coin consensual sex with predator because that person feels like that's not the case.
You know what I hate about this kind of stuff is it just makes women sound like they have no agency.
No, they don't.
And they're never liable for any of the decisions that they make. I know plenty of women who stay at home and would refuse to bang Ed Sheeran despite him being famous because they don't want to go for that.
They're like,
if you are a high-level woman and you go for that, right? If you leverage your looks as a Victoria's Secret model against his fame, why are you surprised when he decides to pull out? Because
you said pull out.
It's just interesting to me that men who women at high levels are predators, but that women who use men at high levels are not gold diggers. And it's just interesting to hear a woman constantly define him as an ugly guy.
But men are really superficial. Men are shallow.
Okay. One of the biggest problems with ugly boys is that when you start dating them, they start thinking they're a 10 and get slick. It's interesting. And this body positivity, all women are beautiful, all bodies are beautiful. For some reason, ugly men having confidence is unacceptable. But fat, ugly women who want to have confidence, the best thing ever. It's empowering.
You want to feel loved back to life, right? You want to like get your mojo back. So you go for the guy, you dial down either your standards.
So wait, do you think that the Victoria's Secret models were dating down when they got with Ed Sheeran? You mean a guy who could literally have his pick of the litter with pretty much most women on this planet? You felt like they were dating down and they lowered their standards? Really?
But like empirically, there are some people who are more attractive than other people. I don't know. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Whatever. If we're here to like debate the merits of saying that everyone is beautiful, you're on the wrong channel. Only all girls are beautiful. All girls are beautiful. Like, obviously. All guys, no, they're not. No. They get to run the world. They don't get to be beautiful. Sorry.
Go on. Go on. Say it.
Bro, I'm legit speechless. What just happened?
Oh, that's the first.
I felt like she owned herself. She's like, empirically, some people are more beautiful than others. I was like, okay, I get I'm with you. But all women are beautiful, not men, because my feelings.
No,
I can't argue with something that's incomprehensible. How do I undo logic that's not even logical in its own sentence? It's like me saying, and I have to argue against that. I can't argue against it.
Fair.
You know? Maybe she's joking, so I'm just going to give her the benefit of the doubt, which I'm being very generous. This girl is so dumb, I haven't even noticed her tits.
What?
And then ghost. And then he negs you. He negs you. And you flip out. The guys have been like the most twisted over, have been situations like this. And finally, one day I woke up. I'm like, it's not my heart that's broken. It's my ego.
The thing that happened is that whenever they get rejected from ugly guys, the way a girl like that's gonna think is that I'm doing good and I'm also giving a chance to an ugly guy because I'm this standard. I'm lowering my standards, i.e. dating down. I am offering, you know? To her, it's like if you're walking down the street and you see a homeless person and you're like, yo,
I'm blessing
do you want a sandwich? And the homeless person's like, no, thank you, I'm vegan. And then you're like, who the hell you think you are? I made that sandwich. That sandwich, yo, just walk off with your sandwich. They don't want the sandwich.
No.
But because you looked down and you gave the sandwich and you're being rejected, I'm being rejected by a homeless. You don't even eat. You didn't even eat all day. Rejected me? King Kong ain't got shit on me.
And girl, an ego takes a lot longer to heal than a heart.
It depends how big your ego is.
And it depends how non-existent your heart is. If a heartbreak is a lot easier to get over for you than an ego bruise, boo-boo, you might be a sociopath.
Infinitely longer. An ego bruise like goes on forever because you can't, it's like a logic trap. You're like, I can't compute. I'm 7. I'm 8.5. I can't like, and so you just get caught in this loop because it's never going to make sense. Like what, why is, I just hallucinated. I thought you left me unread. You left me.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm socialized as a man, but you're used to taking L's.
Oh,
you take L's not just from women, but from life, from people who are worse and stronger than you. I got beat up by somebody who was smaller than me when I was 7. I'd never forget that. I was supposed to win that fight. Bro, if I got decked in the stomach and you know that, fuck, and in front of my family, my brother, and we walked back the walk of shame. Yeah. But that was a humbling experience for me. I've had to take L's like that my whole life. You know what they say about L's? You know what I'm saying? 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 2 L's make a W.
Every time you say this.
And so first of all, we end up feeling worse than when we started, right? Like we feel infinitely more worthless, kind of because we were barking up the wrong tree, right? Kind of because we were objectifying someone, and kind of.
Every time he says, kinda, I hear China. China, because we were abusing people. China, because we have the coronavirus. China, because we got a lot of Asian people.
And the guys who have done this to me, the ugly guys who've done this to me, they were famous. All of them, every single one of them was famous. And would I have talked to them if they weren't? Nope.
Wow! You guessed it your own self. Exactly the point. So at the beginning of the video, you can't be like, oh, this is something that happens to me. When you just said, hey, kinda. No. Talking about, oh, this thing is happening to me. And then after that, turn around, would I have talking to him if he wasn't that? Exactly.
Now I want to move to China.
Yo, bring the phone back over here. Let's go. Just no, you're not in the perfect state of mind to talk. Just give it time and give it a think.
Every time we press pause, I always see Ed Sheeran's face like, I fucked them bitches. That's what I see every time I press pause.
But here's the problem with like people who grew up unpopular or feeling like they were ugly or whatever. They have something called kill the cheerleader syndrome. That's what I call it. Where like they are so fixated on their past and how they were like mistreated and nobody liked them when they were 13. I've got news for you guys. No one likes anyone when they're 13. So it bothers me when guys have this like wounded victim mentality.
Pause. So you're going to say men have victim mentality when you say the reason why the ugly guy is going with the good-looking girls, because the good-looking girl was feeling bad and something happened to her, and you know, we feel depressed and we want to be hurt, so we go to the... But we're the ones with victim mentality. Oh. Not only you talk dumb, you don't even understand the dumb shit that you say. They have a victim mentality, but all you've been able to describe was a victim mentality.
Listen, ugly guys who have high value, we have to stop defining them as ugly men. Ed Sheeran is not an ugly man. Yeah. Ed Sheeran is a desirable man.
because he's got money.
Right? You can't define someone by an attribute that doesn't have that much impact on how endearing they are. Do you understand what I'm saying? Meaning, if I'm thinking of buying a company, all right, I'm not going to define that company or by the shoes that the employees wear, because that's not what their selling point is. Their selling point is their commercial value. So you see it as a profitable company. When I look at Ed Sheeran, I don't think ugly man. I think of hyper successful artist who has done world tours and is desired because of his skill set. That's how you define him. So when you define him as just an ugly man or as an ugly man, you're disregarding what makes him endearing to other people. 1. 2, guys who are less attractive and who grew up less physically attractive and not as attractive to women when they were younger don't get old or older, become attractive, and then reject hot women because they're angry about their childhood. They reject you ladies who are very attractive because you don't have much to offer other than your looks.
The same way a woman's going to reject a dude because he ain't got nothing else to offer.
Exactly. He might be hot, but he has no ambitions and nothing else. You would probably reject him. So when you come to the negotiating table, for example, and you're just a hot woman with very little else to offer me, right? After I've slept with you, I've already consumed your beauty. Think of it as a negotiating process, right? You're leveraging your and your looks versus my charm and my status, right? Once I've slept with you, which is what I wanted out of the negotiation process, and once you've wasted my time, which is what you wanted out of the negotiation process, my attention, all this stuff, what comes after? I've already had, what else do you bring to the table? Nothing. And so why would I stay at the negotiating table and try to offer someone something that they can't offer me in return? The reality is, ladies, after your looks, there has to be something else for me to invest in. Getting a guy is easy. Making him stay is a lot of women's problems. If you think that we're running away or we're leaving you or we're ghosting you because we want to get revenge, then you really don't understand us. Sometimes we just like the peace and quiet of your absence.
When I've gone for the ugly guy, famous or not, it's like, I feel like I need to be adored more. So I'm going to go for a guy who I have evaluated is not as good as me. And he needs to be my fan, right? That's kind of twisted and messed up.
Isn't it impressive how she thinks her looks makes her equal to an ugly person who's famous? What she was given to her genetically, she thinks makes her equal to someone who's worked hard and had to persevere through so much in order to get to his point in life. It's impressive. The arrogance of women who have so little to offer, yet they think they deserve so much, is impressive. But I digress. Only women get to be beautiful. Here's some of the comments, because this is not an isolated thing. Her fans love this video. Why hot girls choose ugly, plain Jane boys? In my case, I thought they were harmless and easy to get along. Oh, okay. So you had insecurities and you thought that just because I looked a little bit less hot than that, yeah, what? I'm gonna because I'm less attractive, I have to have a more docile personality.
It's a stripper complex. If you go to a stripper joint and you look good, girls are not gonna go to you necessarily because they're gonna think you don't need them. So it's like, I'm not gonna go for that guy.
Right.
But if they go to another guy, it's like, yeah, I could go with that, and I could, because yeah.
Ugly guys have just way too much nerve, especially if they're rich. Never trust a rich, ugly guy. Ladies are salty because dudes are realizing that they don't have to wife up these useless broads in order to get what they want. And now you mad because people don't see your value. Actually, really rephrase. Now you mad because people see your real value. And so if you're mad because your value isn't being recognized, it's probably because your product isn't that valuable. It's like running a business. If people are buying your product once and they're not return customers, it's because your product wasn't that good.
You might have a good packaging, but if the product is garbage, you're not buying again. It might look good and everything, but if it tastes bad and, I make my belly ache and I got to go to the bathroom and stuff, I'm not going back to that. If it's a headache, I'm not going back to that. So the packaging was nice, but the product was doo-doo. So
there you go. If I don't leave a good review, it's because the product wasn't good. If your standards are really high and you can't find a man, it's probably because you're overvaluing the product. I'm drawing a parallel to business just so you guys can understand, but a lot of people are unreasonable. It's why when I see ugly guys with extreme standards, where like, I want a Victoria's Secret model, I'm like, nigga, you ain't got shit to offer. You live in your mom's basement and you ugly. It's not gonna happen. Lower your standards or get your skills up. One or the other. That's how cutthroat it is for men. But for ladies, nah. Ugly guys are just being unreasonable. You suck. It's your fault. Learn to take L's and turn them into W's. That's all I got. You got anything else you want to add?
No.
Cool. Thanks for showing me that.